Merry Christmas, everyone. 2024 has almost come to an end, and this is the last book review I'm doing for this year. Shoe Dog, a memoir by the creator of Nike, by Phil Knight. The story began in the year 1960 when Phil graduated out of Stanford University, and he wanted to travel the entire world. So he borrowed some money from his father, and he started his journey. He came to Asia, he came to India and Kolkata as well, which is my city. Then he moved to Vietnam and Japan and UK and all these countries. Now, whilst visiting Japan, he always had this idea whilst he was doing his MBA, he was crazy about shoes. And he always did research about shoes, shoemaking, shoe companies, and so on. He thought that he's going to take an appointment with one of Japan's most renowned companies that time, Tiger Shoes, Onitsuka Tiger Shoes. So he took an appointment and visited Onitsuka and told him that I have a company named Blue Ribbon and we want to distribute your shoes in the United States because you want to break into that market and we can be the potential distributor for you. And let me tell you, that time Phil didn't have a company, registered company named Blue Ribbon. He just invented it and did that sales speech. Onitsuka agreed. He said that, okay, what's the order then? And Phil said, okay, let me order for $50 now. Imagine $50, just $50. Onitsuka was still okay. He said, fine, I'm going to export to you $50 worth of shoes. Phil was so happy, he went back to USA and he was waiting for the shoes. And once they arrived, he was so happy and he thought that he needs to actually form a company. And he could thought of a co-owner, Boorman, his old coach in his school and college days. He thought that Boorman has the knowledge and personality to become a co-owner or a co-founder. So he approached him and said his idea and Boorman was ready. So that's how Phil found his co-owner of Blue Ribbon. They formed the company and the next order they put was $1,000. Okay, just $1,000, as a company. And after 1 or 2 years, so they were selling shoes by themselves, as in Phil was only working as a sales rep and selling shoes in every place possible within Oregon. That's the place from where Phil belongs. So he started selling shoes there, and later he hired few people, 2 or 3 people who became pillar at a later point in time of the company Blue Ribbon and Nike, as you know. Johnson, Hayes, Udall, these were the people. Johnson again was a Stanford alumni. Udall was a runner who lost his legs in paralysis. And Hayes was an accountant, and those used to call each other butt faces. All these pillars of the companies. It's a funny name. Now the point is, they did business like this. They were running crazy in terms of equity when they were running business, but they still ran for 10 years. And there came a point when Onitsuka Tiger Shoes filed a lawsuit against Blue Ribbon, and that was the turning point. That time, Phil took a bold decision. He told to his employees and to his team that we are no longer going to import shoes and sell. We are going to manufacture them. And they started looking for manufacturing plants across different countries. They started with Vietnam and Puerto Rico, and they started in the United States as well. Rest, as you know, is history. Nike got formed, and today Nike is world's one of the most renowned shoe companies in the history of shoemaking, I would say. So the book has all other details as well about the journey. It's a long story short that I've told you. But there are 4 very interesting and essential learnings that I've got out of this book. The first important learning is when ideas would never come fully formed. You can't imagine things completely. They will come in bits and pieces, but you have to take the first step. If you're passionate about something, you have to take that first bold step, and that is necessary. In this case, Phil, he didn't have a company, but he sort of imagined a company named Blue Ribbon and placed his first order. It's $50, you can imagine, right? So he took that step, and this is true for all of us. We have to take steps. Second thing is hiring people. When he hired people, you can see Udall, who didn't have legs. He had Hayes, who was merely an accountant, and there was this Johnson, who was just a sales rep, but they became pillars of Nike. And Phil never looked at the resume of his employees. He always looked at the person and the vibe. If the vibes matched, he was all up for that employee. All that mattered was the person in general, not the resume. You can always create a role in the company if the person is good or skilled. So that's the second learning. How do you hire people? Third thing is, when you are running a company, you are a leader, you always tell people what needs to be done and how they will do it. Let them figure out. So you leave it up to them. You trust their skills and you leave it up to them how they're going to do it. So that's a very interesting leadership trait, I would say. And the fourth and the most important one was, Phil always said that I never sold shoes, I've sold ideas. And what he meant by that is, he had a runner, he had known a runner named Pri, who died at the age of 22, a very premature death because of a car accident. What Pri used to say is, if I'm running and if you want to beat me, not impossible, you can beat me, but then you have to bleed me to death in order to win, because I am here for the victory and I give my 150, 200% to win. So what Nike says is, we sell this idea that if you are passionate about something and if you're putting your 150% or 200% of effort, then Nike stands for you. We cheer for you. And that's the idea. That's the ethos that we run in the company. That's the idea we sell. It's not about the shoe. It is about the idea. And that kind of resonated with me. That's so true. This book is a marvel. So you should read it and let me know how it feels, because it'll give you goosebumps at times. So you just read it and feel it and let me know that how was it. Thanks for watching, and thank you again.